This video is brought to you by John Robson Guitar Tuition. If you enjoy the content, please consider supporting the channel by enrolling on a course, purchasing some guitar lessons or a t-shirt, or you can join my Patreon. Now, on with the show. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well, and you can tell by the fact that I'm on the webcam again that I'm having a chat with somebody, and it's my old mucker Steve Hoggart. You've seen him on the channel before. What we're doing today is I got a crazy idea into my head that I would have a go at replicating a specific Gary Moore guitar tone, specifically from his Still Got the Blues era. And the track I chose was the first track rather off that album, Moving On. And well, it's a bit of a mix-up really, because I've since found out I used the wrong guitar. I wanted basically a set neck humbucker equipped guitar. So what I had available at the time was my Harley Benton PRS knockoff. So I used that, because I didn't have a 1959 Les Paul to hand, funnily enough. And I since found out after I got it all recorded that I think Gary used the Strat on that particular track. So still, it's an interesting exercise, as you will see. I've got Steve in. Say hello, Steve.
Hello, Steve. It was an interesting one when John sent us this, because I thought it would open up the doors for a couple of things. I didn't know whether everybody talks about some of the stuff that we're going to be discussing, but I think it's in a really good a good example of what to do with it, the reamping thing. And I thought, no, cool. And happy birthday to John, because it is his birthday today.
Thank you. Yes. I haven't had a beer yet. That will be changing. So as Steve alluded to there, what he very kindly agreed to do for me was to, use some of his studio skills in reamping and stuff to see how close he could get. Obviously, I recorded the guitar dry, and then I applied a few plugins. Just cheap ones. I used what I'm going to do in a moment is play you what I think is the best effort I came up with, where I ended up kind of splitting it, and on the left hand channel I was using bias amp copy or model of a JTM 45, and then on the right hand channel I was using the Blue Cat free amp plugin on its classic drive setting. And both of those were kind of prefaced or kind of had a free governor pedal plugin called the Soft Drive that was going into the front end of both of those. And, well, it sounded like this. That was the best that I could come up with. So I just pinged it over to Steve to see what he could do. So do you want to tell us about your first run at it, Steve?
The first go at it really was still staying in the box, and I used bias. Just a heads up, he did use a Les Paul on this.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. Both me and my trusty sidekick did quite a bit of digging on it, and it was. And there's only one track on most of the songs, obviously with one main track. And on this, it wasn't when the slide bit comes in. What we thought has happened, and we may be wrong with this, is that he's hit some kind of pedal for a boost. What was quite cool that I've probably done a little bit different is demonstrating what you can do once you're inside bias, and being the geek that I am, we were able to replicate the JTM 45 even more by downpowering the transformer and things and other bits in that. But I did mention that we left the pedal on, I think, all the way through. Now, because it's in software, one of the things that you can do is I could automate that. So you could automate the pedal to come on, but I never thought of that because we'd started drinking.
I'll tell you what, shall we have a listen to how that came out?
The DI that I've got off John's really cool. It's really important that you get a good level. You can see here I've had to pull the level down just a little bit. But then what we've got going on is there's this free plug-in of one of them Marshall governor things. And it sounds pretty cool. Then what I've got it going into bias. It sounds like Tobias going into bias, Tobias, my little friend. Bias amp, sure about it, you're an idiot. And this is cool, so it gives you a picture of the amp if you so desire. And there's a preamp, and we've got 12 AX7s or ECC 83s, so we can have a proper fiddle about. We can make sure that we've got put a British style transformer on there because it's a Marshall, and a GZ34 rectifier valve, and the power amp is run the L34s. The JTM 45 that our friend Gaza used would have been the 30-watt one. There were it was an underpowered transformer, so I think we've got to be thinking about that. If I pop in here and the transformer, what I've done is I've pulled the output down a bit on the transformer, and I've bunged the compression up a little bit so it gets a little bit more spongy. And as for speakers, we're using a 2 notes thing. I've got to be honest with the 2 notes thing. I haven't once I've got one of them, what's it called? Is it the captor?
Yeah, the cap. Oh, you want about
the thing that's just instead of the speaker?
Oh, it's a 2 notes captor.
Yeah, I couldn't remember, but that's class, and it goes into another box. But I can pick my cab that I want. So they're an assortment of cabs with 212 there, and if I go on to the 412 there, and we're on a 60A, which is tremendous, and pick it on a 57. And I think that's all super duper brill. So, what does it sound like? So, I've added all them on. Let's give you a quick listen. For me, I really do have a feeling that the governor would be going on for the slidey bit. I'm just going to meet it halfway because we don't really have an option for that. And what I'm going to do is the next thing that we would do in the old base of Q is I would render this down onto a track itself. So 24-bit because that's nice. And I'm just going to export that. So it's not very long. So amuse yourselves for 30 seconds or whatever it is. I'll have a drink.
Right then, so that's what your first pass at it was like, and I got to say, that sounds pretty close.
To be honest, John, now where we're going now is you're starting to go the far ends of a fart, and I like that. I like that diving in, but I think once we got into the what I did with this next one with the JMP1, which is a little bit inside the box, basically the signal's coming out of Cubase. I'll do it on the video, and then goes into all the gizmo things, and we were able to turn a proper governor on and off, and get a speaker cab that was as close as we could get. The difference isn't massive, but I feel this is the difference of why real high-end studios are out there, because it allows you to get that little, I would say we're probably 30% near where we're at with what we're doing here.
Let's take a listen anyway.
Right, we come out the back of Cubase. Out of Cubase, I've assigned it to come out of an output on my audio interface. The audio interface then comes out on a patch bay here, comes to this little box here, and this is a proper reamp box. There's a big, it's really important that you use a proper reamp box when you're reamping outside, because you can't just go from a line level signal coming out, because you've got to change A, the level, and A, the impedance, so you've got to think called impedance loading. I'll be doing a video on this on my own crazy mad little channel. Right, after we come out of there, we come out and go into the amp, but before that we're going to this lovely Marshall governor pedal, which is like one of the ones that our guys used. So I come out of that, and then I'm going into a Marshall JMP1, and I'm on the Clean 2 channel, which is supposed to be a really good emulation of a JTM 45, but I think it's alright actually, it does trick. Then we come out of that, and into my little drawer here, we've got what we call a torpedo cab emulator thing, and I'll go into that a bit more in a tick, but that's where it kind of goes, and it's dead snazzy, and it's lovely. Anyway, I'm waffling on now. Bye! See you in a second. So this time, when we're looking at the old base of Q thing, what we've got going on here is I've just got the guitar DI is like there, it's getting sent out of a mono output. If I just have a look at solo that. And what we think, me and Mr. Bucket in the back, we think that our Gaz has probably stomped on the pedal when it lands on the slidey bit. So we'll bung that along, and that'll be tremendous. Tell you what, it doesn't half compress that, doesn't it?
That's it. It's the tubes. Less gain, more level. You're just getting that tube.
It's getting a bit of tubey squash, isn't it?
Yeah, it's setting these pedals is the biggest.
I think that's been the toughest thing out of everything we've done so far, is getting that right.
Yeah, I've took the settings and gone. Because the thing is, how far the manufacturer of the thing is.
Yeah,
they're all different, so it's within reason.
Yeah.
Get it close, then use your ear for the last 10%.
Right, so obviously that let it in, and anyway, yeah. So the JMP one, it was. I remember when that first came out in, when was it, mid-90s, and
changer for me. It was game changer for me, John.
It was just everywhere, wasn't it? You know, and I didn't realise it was still kind of, you know, because a lot of other stuff that came out 25, 26 years ago is pretty much obsolete by now, but that is still riding strong, isn't it?
It's not emulations. It's the same as I've got one of them Daft Boogie Mark V things, and they're not emulations. They are the main bits, the main circuitry, although, you know, presented in a different way. I got a massive shock when I used the M45, when I wound it up with the speaker set. that I'd never really used before in this way, and it was like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
It was, wow. And you'd think I've probably had it 12 years,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm a nightmare for not exploring things totally and got shouted out.
Find the settings that you like and kind of
Yeah.
Anyway, what we did next, do you want to tell us what the next one was? I've got here
the next one,
reamping the Stoneham.
Yeah, the next one was a proper how I do for clients reamp and stuff. I have used the JMP because it has a distinctive sound with the speaker emulated output on it. But basically, what we did here was a real amp, real pedal, real speaker, the same mic, different mic pre. The mic pre that you use also has a lot to do with changing the tone of things. So I have a gizmo called a Focusrite liquid channel, and this is emulation, and this allows you to take an emulation of 40 different mic preamps and 40 different high-end compressors. And when it came out, it never made as big a bang as it should have done, really. But there's still a go-to in a lot of studios. You know, I mean, they may have loads, but what's really cool about it is you can save a preset. So John comes round to do his vocals, which are tremendous, by the way. And then I just hit save, and there's a vocal patch saved. What I do is I number them what the mic is, and it's this signal flow that we're looking at here. Now, one of the things that was difficult to get a hold of was a 412 loaded with EVs, plus you need a forklift to be able to carry the thing about. But I'm lucky enough to have a 1x12 cab with a Marshall Celestian Gold, the 30
nice speaker,
and it really is a cross between an EV and a nice old Celestian. 200
is that the speaker that was in the anniversary combos? Because I think yeah, because that was my old amp for many years.
Yeah, I've always heard you talking about the combo being quite unreliable. The heads were ace. The heads very rarely went, but I think it's the adage of putting that much high-end gear, high output gear all together. I really believe that's a heat thing.
Yeah.
I've been told it was the same with the Boogie Mark 5s are a little bit like that. Well, I have my Boogie Mark 5 converted to a combo. Anyway, I digress.
And do you want to tell us a little bit about the Stoneham amp?
Oh, right, yeah. Bucket had ordered this, and it's a custom built amp by a local northeast builder called Martin Stoneham, and it's got it's a 2-channel amp with a boost, and it's got like a classic plexi clean side to it, which is the side that we use, which is like a later version JTM 45. But I know the amp that our Gaza used was it was a prototype, and they weren't quite sure whether it was running a 30-watt transformer or a 50-watt transformer. What I'm meaning with this is if you change the transformer, it can change the output of the amp. Well, Dave's Stoneham's a 100-watt amp. Well, it just gives you so much more clean headroom, and with a 200-watt clean speaker, you get that real dynamic. You got a real punch out of the amp as well. He brought out a bass amp, and he was wanting to name it, and I think it come out, and it's the YI 200 manufacturer, and it's like when I had to go that, it had the clang of like an amp. When you don't drive an Ampeg really hard to distort it, they have this real piano-esque bottom end, and it was like, no, you don't need another amp. And I've had to slim down because of the gigs that I do now. We're on and off stage quite quick. The amp class.
Anyway, let's have a listen to what the Stoneham brought to the party.
So this one What we've got going on now is we're coming out of the patch bay, out of the send out of Cubase into, where's my finger? That bit there. And that's sending it into the booth of Infinite Peril. Just before we go to the booth of Infinite Peril, we're going through the TF Pro thing, this red box here. I've got a tiny, tiny little bit of compression on. It's maybe half a dB. And what it's to do is just to help it sit. I like the sound of what the compressor does. Sorry about the finger thing. Looks quite good, that, though. It's like one of them, what they call it, that. Monty Python there. Blame that. Right, anyway, that's where that's going. Now we come to the booth of Infinite Peril, of pain and war. This is War Bucket, and we're keeping socially distanced. And he's going to tell us what's going on here. There's my new bass, by the way. It's lovely.
Right. You told us about coming on the patch bay. So coming in on number 17 here. And here's our DI box again, preamp box again. Cut out the reamp box, as it would be like normal, out of a normal guitar. Went into a governor pedal that we're only kicking on for the slide parts, because that's what we're thinking's happened on the record. Out that, we're going into a Stolen V4 100 2-channel amp. We're using the first channel that has a clean and a plexi style early Marshall sound. So we're using that, and basically all the controls are basically set about 7/8 on the dial. Getting a bit higher up, old Marshall type of thing. Rest of the EQ. Got the master halfway up, so we're getting a bit of that power amp working as well. Out the amp, we're coming into a Marshall 112 with a Alnico Gold in. And then we've got a 57.
Can I just put in there quick, Dave? That's from the 30th anniversary series. It's the Alnico Gold. I think it's a 200 watt 1x12. So it's a bit like the EV thing that Gazamere used. Sorry to interrupt, sir.
That's fine. So, as we were on the speaker, got the 57 angle off axis, but it's kind of on the speaker. It's on the speaker, so it'd be like straight on. And we got it between the dust cap and the main part of the speaker itself. 57 out, back into the wall. Steve will be able to tell you the rest there.
Yeah, I think I did earlier on anyway. So in that red thing that was like, I bought dead cheap and they're a fortune now. Anyway, let's get on with the other bit. And while David's going to stay in there to do pressing on the pedal thing. Bye. See you shortly. Right, get this last bit. We've got wire bucket in the cell. We'll just crack on. Oh, hang on. It'll help if I record it. Are you all good? Are we out, David? Should I have a quick chat about that? Thoughts on tweaks that you had to do on anything in there compared to what we did with the JMP?
Well, with the JMP, the governor, we pulled up the settings that we had off the website and what people were thinking the settings were. I've had to tweak it from there again when I pulled up the JMP one. We put a less gain and more level in, but the general set and a bit less top end from what the settings were, but it was pretty close, and went a bit more Tube Screamer-esque with the settings than what the settings for the governor originally were. When we've moved over to the Stoneham, it's the amp's a lot more reactive to what the JMP's getting. So what I've had to do with it is quite a chunk bit less gain, lot. Basically, we've gone from 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock on the treble control, and I've added a bit more bottom end in to round it out a bit more, because the way the settings are, the mid controls all the way up, so I've like faked a bit more mid with a bit more bottom end in, and they're the kind of differences I've had to go with to get a similar sound between the two devices.
Cool. There endeth the sermon. I hope this has been informative. We're going to do, after we've done this for John, we're going to do a reamping thing back over to John, because he's a lovely chap.
And finally, Steve, you want to tell us about the final go at it?
Dave had no idea I was still recording, and we'd just been talking, and he'd just been messing about with the tone of an amp, and we were thinking, we've got the Gary Moore thing, and I went on a Thin Lizzy thing. I've done everybody does these compare pickup things, but I've done one with a Les Paul, and really what they are is for me own kind of seeing how much of a difference that they've made. And we know that all Lizzy's guitarists have been Les Paul players, and my favourite Lizzy guitarist, I really struggle is, it's like, is it Gary or is it John Sykes? And just for our own thing, I set the boogie up to reamp with a similar tone to what John Sykes uses. But what he does is he blends the two. But what we did is we did a blend. We did it without the blend, so it would just be where the Marshall's set up. And it was just a bit of a giggle, really. And I mean, it's like to hear, it really is a high gain tone that's not really appropriate for this kind of soulful slide thing. But can I just hark back to the story here? Is there's no noise. There's no. We never used noise gate EQs, graphics, or anything on any of the gear that we did. So
well,
what you hear is what you get.
It's quiet.
Anything that, well, I think that's one of the important things that you've got to be able to do when you're reamping. You know what I mean? I must say the reamp signal that I got from you was really cool. It was a really good level and dead consistent. I was going to say, had you put it through a little compressor or anything before it went in?
No, that was just straight into me cheap and cheerful little Behringer Euphoria interface with a lead, and then into Reaper.
Stock pickups?
No, those pickups, my favourite pickups, Vanson Classic 57 PAFs.
Yeah, really, really nice. Yeah, I'm suitably impressed with that. I've just put some proper Gibbo ones in my Epiphone, and I got them dead cheap, so I can't whinge. Like I say, I've heard loads of good things about the Vansons.
Anyway, let's have a listen to how John Sykes might have played it.
You know what?
What?
We should do who do you think we should do?
What person?
Yeah, if they were doing this sort, reamp their tone, reamp their sound. Who do you think?
What this sounds like?
Yeah.
I don't remember it.
Do you want to go like another?
Yeah, say another person. I'm trying to think of it. Give us a name, because I can't think off the top of my head.
What about like a Sykesy thing?
Yeah, Johnson.
Did you like that?
Yeah, I thought of you.
Yeah, go on then. Get it done then.
I'll get in there.
Get in the booth. Yeah, get in the box. Get in the fucking box.
No, mate. So just pedal same thing as like in the slide bit.
Yeah, pedal, same thing, slide bit. You're right.
Yeah, that is pretty high gain, isn't it?
But I think what I was like, it would just it would, you know, the one thing you can't get when you're reamping is feedback. I've tried loads of different ways of doing it, and there's a plugin you can get from some scan. I've got it somewhere on my computer somewhere. I need to load it in, but it allows you to do a note going into feedback kind of thing. But no, a little bit of OTT. I thought you'd like that.
I have a little dodge that I'll share with the viewer if he's still watching. I did an album full of covers years ago, and one of the tracks on there I covered was Gary's version of the Supernatural. You know, the old Peter Green tune, where he kind of gets a note of feedback and plays. And obviously, in a little room like this, I haven't got the facility to get that kind of volume. So what I did was the note I want to feed back, find it as a harmonic somewhere on the guitar.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And then fade it in.
Yeah, love it.
Just take the attack off it and just fade the harmonic in, and it sounds perfect.
What I've done for years when if I'm this is not reamp, I'm recording the guitar, I'll get a little combo, and at the back of the room I'll put it on top of the record deck or whatever, so it's like a little 10-watt combo, so it's up loud, and you've split the signal, so you've got that in here, and when that feeds back, it makes the amp that you're recording feedback as well.
Okay.
That was Sylvia Massey. I got that from years and years ago.
Cool tip. Right, well, I think what we'll do now is we'll invite the viewer to put a comment in the comment section, where else, below, saying which of the tones they preferred, which is closest to the actual Gary Moore track. I'll link to that in the description as well. And leave your comments below telling me, or telling us, which of these tones that we've strived for, or Steve's done most of the striving, to be honest with you, which of these tones do you think is closest to the original Gary Moore tone? Leave your comments below. And that's pretty much it for today, folks. Thanks once again to Steve for all of the work he's put into this. Massively, massively appreciate it, Steve. Thank you very much.
Oh, no hassle. We enjoyed it. We're doing another one next week, actually, because Bucket said there'll be loads of people who've watched stuff and seen stuff, but haven't gone into understanding the techie bits behind reamping. Like, a lot of people are using a normal DI box for reamping. Well, you can't really. You can use the DI box to get the sound into your computer. Yes, that's cool, but not the other way around. Anyway, I'm blathering.
Okay. There is much more blathering of a useful nature like that on Steve's channel, which I'll link to in the description. And if you want to support this channel, then all the links are down there as well. Go and check Steve out, give him a subscribe and a like. Loads of useful information on there. And anyway, that's pretty much it for today, folks. Hope you've enjoyed the video and found it useful, informative, inspiring maybe in some small way, and hopefully entertaining as well. And if you have, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so. And why not give us a like while you're at it? But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thanks for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.